We're going to answer the third question. Well, actually, it's question slash topic subject. And this one is on the menstrual cycle for the women, for all you ladies out there. Because over the years that I've noticed being on YouTube in the health movement, a lot of ladies have asked me about the period, the menstrual cycle for women when switching to plant-based, and specifically raw vegan too. And they have really wanted to know my thoughts and opinions on it and kind of what I've experienced. I'm going to give my thoughts and opinions, and then Adrienna will give hers. And so for me, you guys, also is a lot of ladies I've noticed they're very hesitant about changing their diet to plant-based or raw veganism because of losing their period. Again, I'm not the health expert at this or anything, but I can tell you from my experience and from what I've seen in other people in the health movement, other ladies in the health movement, is that it's different for everybody. It's different for everybody, but a majority of people, ladies I've seen, is they do lose their period, but it comes back. It eventually comes back. And so there's kind of like an interruption that happens. For me, my past health history is a lot different from everybody else. And I came from a background of over-exercising and severe malnutrition under eating. So I lost my period before I was even raw vegan. So when I came to raw veganism, it actually helped me get my period back. But one thing I noticed about it though was my period was much lighter. It wasn't so heavy. It wasn't heavy, and I didn't have to take Tylenol anymore. It wasn't so painful, and there's no bloating at all, really, which is a wonderful thing, a really wonderful thing. And but it never threw me to the bed because it was so painful anymore. So there was huge, massive improvements with it. And but I can't really remember or say for how long it took me to get it back, but it did come back, and it's a regular cycle. So I just want to say that for all you ladies out there, that don't be afraid, because the healthiest way you can eat, in my opinion, is plant-based, the cleanest possible. And that's the healthiest food for your body. If we're eating our natural way, of course, it should support our body to all of its functions, and specifically for the ladies, including the hormonal balance and the menstrual cycle. So I think it's really good. Don't be fearful, don't be afraid, but again, do your, like we've mentioned in the previous video, is definitely educate yourself though. Get more information from other people too. Get their thoughts and opinions with their experiences, and do your own education so you can make the right decisions for yourself. And but from my personal experience, it has helped the menstrual cycle, the womanly area, tremendously. I am so happy not to take Tylenol anymore. I am so happy not to be bloated anymore. I am so happy not to have a heavy flow anymore. But it is normal, it is regular, and so that also tells me, it's a good sign that it tells me that I'm eating enough. Because when you're not getting enough calories or nutrients, that stops. So even though I'm personally, if you follow me long enough, recently I'm kind of making a shift, there's other things going on that I'm looking into and figuring out and everything, but I'm still having my period and still having my cycle. So it's definitely telling me I'm eating enough raw foods, I'm eating enough plants, and getting enough nutrients for my body to still have that function happen. So just know that you most definitely can, like, your period will get better. It can come back, or whatever you're going through. Just know that plant foods definitely will help that situation very, very much. But you most certainly do your education first though, so you're good with the decisions and the choices that you make.
For me, I did not have any interruptions when I switched over to plant-based. And the first 6 months that I was plant-based, I was 100% raw vegan. And okay, so age difference here. I'm 45 years old.
Oh, age difference, yeah.
I'm 45, and
you look young. I did not guess 45, Adrienna. Seriously.
But I still have menstruation, and I did not have any interruptions at all, actually. And then, so I would say maybe 3 months ago, because I had a hormone test, because there's so much media about perimenopause, and how it's hitting women in America younger and younger and younger. And so I was like, I'm just curious if I'm even in perimenopause, being 45. And so I had the test, and no, I'm not even in perimenopause at age 45. And I give a lot of credit to that, to my diet. It's my theory that the reason why a lot of women are going into early perimenopause in their 30s is because of the diet. Nutritional deficiencies, ratios are out of whack. Americans get way too much fat. So anyway, I feel that Americans' ratios with their proteins, their fats, their carbs are way out of whack. And I think that has a lot to do with why women in America are going into perimenopause at such a younger age, as well as nutrient deficiencies. You can get your calories in a day, but that doesn't mean you're getting your nutrition completed in a day. Because Americans clearly are not calorie deficient, but they are nutrient deficient. And there's a difference there. So I have found, like with Staci, with just my own personal experience, but with other people, that when menstruation turns off, it's because of a nutrient deficiency or too much exercise. And I'm not saying exercise in general. I'm talking about the what's the word for that? I mean, just too much, just overboard.
Oh yeah, overboard, excessive.
Excessive. That's the word I was looking for. Out of the healthy range of exercise. That's when I have found that menstruation can turn off. And that can do that if you're on a meat-based American diet as well. So it's about bringing your body into balance and providing your woman body what it needs to support a healthy period. And I know also, like, when a woman is actually on her period, menstruating, the woman's need for iron goes up.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
And so having that education, being aware of that, I know that when I am on my period and for a few days after my period, as my body's recovering from all that work, because it's a lot of work for the female body to do that. So I make sure that I up my iron intakes, and potatoes have a lot of iron, corn has a lot of iron, the hemp seeds, nuts, if you eat nuts, those kinds of things. So
I guess just real quick, part of this, how much leafy greens do you say that you consume?
Okay, so for me in the summer, see, I have a 5,000 square foot garden. It's huge. And that's because I just eat so much green. I grow a lot of kale, and so and I admit, in the summer, I can eat 10 cups of leafy greens a day, and that's made into smoothies, because you can't just sit and eat 10 cups of leafy greens unless it's broken down into a smoothie, just like you talk about the quantity issue. And then in the winter, because I'm on a budget, 10 cups of leafy greens, a head of kale every single day really hits the budget hard. I don't know if you've experienced that.
Well, back in Alaska I did, but since I've moved to Arizona here, things have been a lot cheaper, but growing your own, it's much cheaper. But leafy greens can really hit your pocketbook pretty hard.
So I don't get as much leafy greens in the winter as I do in the summer and the fall. But being aware of that, then I make sure that I make smart choices and decisions and track and chronometer to make sure that I am getting my nutrient profile every single day.